All right, everybody, what's happening, man? Y'all, welcome to another edition of SWAC Smoke. I'm C Wells, got my boy DJ over there,
Yes, sir.
and we're gonna talk about a little bit of everything today. Coaching changes, SWAC Championship Game, the whole works.
Yes, sir.
So, how you doing today, DJ?
Doing pretty good, man. Pretty good. Just I guess waiting on tomorrow, see what Grambling State officially gonna do. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's something that's really gonna be interesting. We had Hugh Jackson all night, and and now Ray Lewis in the mix.
Yeah, that's what they saying. I don't really know how true any of that stuff is, but yeah, everybody's got to report on who they, you know, say is a front runner for the job.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right there with my phone, checking it all out.
Well, we can go to and recap this SWAC championship game. That way, we can get into the coaching carousel. But I mean, Jackson State, Prairie View, it pretty much went like I thought. Uh, Prairie View with 5 turnovers. You're not gonna beat Jackson State with 5 turnovers. I don't know what was going on with them. Probably, I mean, they played about how they played most of the year. Prairie View did, in my opinion, but Jackson State just too much for them. At the end of the day, 5 turnovers ain't gonna get it.
Yeah, man, it's Juwan Pass. I don't know what was going on with him, but he was just off, man. They blitzed him early and often, and they put the hurt on him.
I like to know the statistics on Jackson State this year as far as blitzing. I think they blitz like 70, 80% of the time, man. It seemed like. But I would like some hardcore data on that.
Yeah, I know for the first few snaps they was on him early and often, and they just really made it real hard for him to do anything. But I thought Prairie View defense played a good game. I thought they had a good game plan, and they got out them.
With no offense, the defense just get stressed out. I mean, they can't hold them all night, and then Jackson State came up big in special teams as well. So I mean, they kind of they played in all phases. Statistically, the teams matched up pretty evenly, except for the turnovers.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was a pretty even game. You know, it was actually an entertaining game. It really only came down to, if you want to put it that way, a big kickoff return for a touchdown and a defensive touchdown was pretty much the difference. I was impressed that Jackson State stuck with the run game like they did because I thought they would still try to throw it, but they stuck with it.
Yeah, that puts a wrap on that season. We can go on and crown them champions after everybody, was crowning them preseason. I didn't want to crown them then, but I guess I got to crown them champs now.
Yeah, I mean, they earned it, man. I was one of the biggest doubters at the beginning of the season, but you just never know. You don't know what they're gonna do, and you just don't have any idea how the season gonna go. But once they got going, they didn't let up. So salute to them for winning the SWAC, and hopefully they can take home the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah, I got to root for them for sure now. Swag versus everybody.
Oh, always, all day long. Um, because we're gonna hop into coaching talk. This is a one that's interesting. Kevin Falk, running back coach at LSU, is not being retained. So I don't know if Coach Dooley want to at least throw a net out there and see what happened. Hugh Jackson maybe. At Grambling, we'll talk about all of that. This guy's a great coach at LSU, man. He did a really good job with his running back. I don't know what how staffs are gonna go, but that's a name that people should really keep an eye on.
Well, speaking of all of that, given how Prairie View played the last half of the season, and on top of what I've heard about this deal being done with Southern so early, this is something that I take issue with players and coaches. But when you entertaining and you shopping yourself around, to me that takes focus away from the task at hand. I'm not saying that's the reason for Prairie View's downfall towards the end of the season. I'm not saying what I heard is true, but we know oftentimes these coaches are entertaining other schools and contract talks and this and that. But if that was true, how do you feel about you know that type of thing, and what does that say to the players that you're coaching?
Well, I heard the same things you heard, and I got a source that's really close to Coach Dooley. So I believe it, and I honestly, man, I think he pretty much interviewed for the job at homecoming. If he didn't, he got the job because of that beatdown they put on Southern at homecoming. But I think that you owe it to your team that you would already to be fully invested, or you don't coach there. I don't think it's fair for anybody to half-ass it. I'm not saying that's what he did because they had a great season and they caught some bad breaks at the end of the year. But that's always going to be that speculation, and especially with a job that everybody pretty much knows you the number one candidate for the job, those rumors are going to swirl. I think you either need to try to squash it, or you need to just, you know, and I don't know if there would probably be a breach of contract or something, but some kind of way you need to keep this keep this thing going right with your team that you're coaching now, because that's only fair. Those kids bought into what you're doing, and if they know that you checking out, they're gonna check out. And we don't know if that's what happened, but you just never know.
Yeah, that's just something I ain't never liked. Um, and now we in a era where these student athletes aren't even they're foregoing every season. It's getting down to high school now. Everybody quitting and doing this and that. It's all for self now. You don't have those long Eddie Robinsons, Pete Richards. You don't have those long eras anymore with these coaches. Hardly it's on to the next thing, and it's hard to buy in to something like that. It's hard for me to commit to you. I don't know if you're gonna walk out in year two or what. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's that there is no there is no loyalty really. There's nobody that wants to be there for the long haul. Everybody trying to get there and do it the microwave way. So you have to keep people satisfied. Is what have you done for me lately? If they if it's not working for you, then you out. And this is a comment right here that kind of sums it up a little bit.
Right.
If he can do it, he may. Nah, I'm you know I'm optimistic that this. I doubt this is his last stop because no coach feel at his age is gonna coach it forever. But if you're gonna leave, man, please leave on a good note. I don't. From what I'm gathering, is mixed reaction from Prairie View people. Some people not happy he left. Some people happy he left. So I don't know if that's just feelings because he left or what. But this is something that really should have been handled better. I just put it that way because it just really makes it look bad. I mean, if you've been undercover working for a month or so, that then you're not even dedicating the time to your guys that you have. So
Right.
it's crazy. But I heard that myself, and the person that told me, I take his word for a lot. So he's been telling me everything going on up there. But I hope he do, man. He wants to be here. People want him here, and we'll just see how it go. And my boy Jamie G checking in right now. And I think Dooley can be successful. He already out grinding, recruiting. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think he'll do well. It's just one of those situations, kind of like SWAC fan said. I was telling my dad earlier. I said it's like you get your old lady, she cheating on her husband, you get with her, thinking she gonna be loyal to you, but look how you got her.
Oh yeah.
So
So You know, you can't you can't dirty mac somebody and then not expect it to come back on you. So it's
Yeah,
one of those things that you have to you have to be real careful because it's a mixed bag and SWAC fan chiming in. It was a few people I know that was not happy with this hire. I was not indifferent, but I just want better than what we had. I
yeah.
think Dooley's a guy that can do the job, but the powers that be wanted him now. So not AD Banks, Coach Banks, whatever you want to call him. He was operating with a hand in his back, if so to speak. The board really wanted Dooley, and a lot of high power people wanted Dooley. So you get what you want. So it's it's tough on the bluff, like they used to say. So we'll find out this year how people react to him once he gets settled in and gets his guys there and fill out his staff. We don't even know what he's gonna do with his coaching staff yet. Although I did hear Coach Rollins might be the defensive coordinator. I don't know how I feel about that, but
Man, come on, man.
I'm serious. That's what I heard.
He
Now
shouldn't be allowed on the campus no more.
that's all. That's all rumor from. But the same person that told me about a lot of things with Coach Dooley coming to Southern, told me this. So I don't know, man. I really don't.
That man's face need to be posted outside the stadium. If you see him, please call security. He is not allowed on the
Do,
premises.
do not let him in. Oh, I mean, I will say this to chime into this comment. If this don't work, then yeah, I think Banks gonna get called to the carpet because a lot of people aren't really happy with the job that he's doing. Um, some people can't speak on what he's doing, and losing a guy like Travion Scott to Grambling hurts a lot. That's a young guy, energetic guy. So, he's trying to make some big moves at Grambling, and Banks is his feet on the fire just as much as anybody else right now. So there's a lot of people who really need this to work out.
So let me ask you this, because we can transition on to Grambling, but I'm gonna use Dooley to do that. Dooley is a Grambling guy. So why is Southern so? Besides, that's who gave him his start, but he didn't want to go back to his alma mater and be the head coach. I know he's been there as a uh, coordinator and position coach, but
Well, I think yeah, and some of this is what I picked up from his introductory conference. He considers Southern home. I think he's from New Orleans, so that's right up the road. Obviously he got loyal to the Pete Richardson for getting him his start, but he built a lot of connections with players and people at the university when he was there because he was here for for quite some time. So I think for him, it feels more home for him than Grambling. And he said that whenever he would coach against Southern, dudes would come up to him, ex players and everything, and be like, "Man, you need to come on back home." Even after last this season. So I think he just feels like this is more home, and it honestly probably is more to that loyalty to getting it started. Because he played at Grambling and he coached there, but I think he spent more of his formative time here at Southern, and I think he has that loyalty to them that is what kept pulling him back. And I don't really think people from Grambling really pushed for him like the people at Southern did. So I think that kind of had a way to do it too.
yeah, I've always wondered that. Like, I mean, especially when it's a rival situation like that, Southern Grambling, how you got more loyalty to Southern and you went to Grambling. That just seemed weird to me, but I get it.
Well, Southern and Grambling they mixed, and yeah, they didn't put no eviction notice on y'all like they did us, but hopefully that would never happen again. So we'll pay our rent and get back on track. But there's a intermingling between Southern and Grambling, so it's just one of those kind of things. It's hard to explain when you're not around here, but it was really one of those situations where I think the whispers started getting too loud, and I mean, at some point, he can't resist, and the situation opened up. I was surprised he didn't end up here in the spring, to be honest. But because I know he's really wanted that job, but I think because Southern went the way they went, the job was able to come back open, and he was ready. So we'll see. I mean, that's like any coaching hire is a wait and see thing. There's no slam dunk in coaching. People can say, you know, this guy is a great guy, but we don't know till they play. And like this comment here says, we don't know. I don't really know a lot about his time at Grambling, so maybe he don't have that kind of relationship with Grambling, but it does have a relationship with Southern, and sometimes it's just one of those things. You just really hard to figure out.
Well, who's on deck at Grambling? Out of the potential candidates you've heard, who do you think would do the best job for Grambling?
Well, out of the two names that I've been hearing, Hugh Jackson, Ray Lewis, I mean, I would go with the guy that's already got a track record with developing players and coaching. Now, at Hugh Jackson, his offense didn't do great at Tennessee State, but that staff came in really late. He's got a lot of experience coaching, and I mean, he didn't have the best NFL record, but neither did Nick Saban. I'm not saying he Nick Saban, but I'm just saying,
right.
Nick Saban didn't have a great NFL career, but he's a good college coach. I think if he can recruit and put together a good staff, the name Grambling sells itself. So you just have to not mess up. And I think that fits better to me because he's proven, he's going to be able to handle the game day situations. And that's something that we can't take lightly, being able to handle the game day situations. If you remember in the spring, Jackson State was kind of helter-skelter. Now, they wasn't playing with the team that they got now, but, they did a lot of things that was not orthodox because the staff was learning each other. Coach Sanders was learning on the job, but I think it'll work out better to me with a more proven guy.
I can agree with that. I can agree with kids coming to play for Ray. Now, the difference in what you're saying now, I think Hugh Jackson, he knows more X's and O's and probably management of a team. If you bring Ray in, he's just a face. You got to get somebody on his staff that knows how to run the team. Ray is the face. He's the recruiter. He's the motivator. He's all of that. He's the networker. So if you go that route, that's what you're looking at. You're not looking for him to come in and, outsmart somebody football wise. You're looking to get recruits, and you're going to have to assemble a good staff.
Yeah, you're looking at any kind of guy that comes in like that. You're looking more of a CEO type of guy.
Yeah.
Get the right people in place, let them do their jobs, and you the face of the program. You go in the houses, your name is sales. Tickets, it
Right.
sells plastics and all of that. And one thing I will say is Ray Allen, I'm thinking basketball. Ray Lewis, I knew I was going to do that at some point tonight. Ray Lewis would be one hell of a pregame speech coach, man. I know his pregame speeches would just tear the roof off, but, it takes a lot more than that. And one thing I will say that Coach Sanders said is whenever he would talk to anybody, you need to understand coaching at a HBCU, you have to do everything yourself. You have to get out and really want to grind and work and damn near stripe the field if you have to. Sometimes, you have to do things that other coaches don't have to do. And I don't know if everybody's built for that. So that's something that you have to be careful with when you also take into account guys who may not have ever coached, but the right guy is gonna always help because Grambling is Grambling. The name sells itself. All you need to do, like I keep saying, is not crash the car. Just get the guys in there and coach them up, and you're gonna be all right. Because Grambling gonna pull people. That's just the way it is. So a strong Grambling makes the SWAC better. A strong Jackson State makes the SWAC better. A strong Alcorn, strong FAMU, strong everybody makes the SWAC better. So I want to see Grambling, rise up. And they, this is a good. This hire could really make AD Scott's career at Grambling. If he hit on this, then he might become an Ashley Robinson type of AD. One of those guys that his name is gonna always be there because he made some strategic moves that helped the program.
Yeah, I agree, and I would like to see either one of those guys because it just brings that much more attention to the SWAC, and hopefully bring more players and just be better for the SWAC as a whole. What do you think? Well, who do you think is best for the Prairie View job?
That's a good that's a good question. Now, one name I will say, and he's on the staff right now. He's the interim guy. That's Bubba McDowell. He he been there for a while. He's been interim coach a couple of times, and I think he's ready for that spot now. Coach Dooley told him if he don't get it, he come to Southern and be on staff. But that's a guy who's an NFL player, um, former Miami Hurricane, former Houston Oiler. So he has that, and he's already there. So there's some connections now. You got to be careful with keeping a guy there just because he was there. But I've been hearing Kevin Sumlin a lot. I don't know, if he's gonna be able to coach there. I've heard a lot of things about him that just, I don't really like. But I I haven't really heard any other names outside of the celebrity type of guys. So
Do you
it,
think
it, it
Broderick Fobbs? You think Fobbs a good fit there? I don't think so, but
no, I think Fobbs need to just you know step away, move on another, get out of the SWAC. If you want to talk about recycling coaches, we don't need to move the coaches around the division. So we did that with Dooley. I don't really consider him a recycle guy, but I think we just need to stay away from that. And there's a lot of hungry coaches now. Maybe you think outside the box and you find you a white coach, but Kevin Sumlin is a guy that I just don't really rock with. And this comment pretty much sums it up. Um, like I say, I've heard he's a little bit MAGA-ish. I don't know if that's gonna sit well at a black college. I mean, if you're hungry for a job, you'll swallow your pride and do what you got to do. But you got to be careful with guys trying to rehab their career too. So, if he's there, will he be there for the long haul? That's something that we don't know. Um, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Joe Brady. His name been coming up for a lot of jobs. I don't know if he's interested in coaching HBCU football. Um, but these names get thrown out in these kind of situations because there's no cut and dry list to go off for right now. So I don't know where Prairie View going to go right now.
you think what's his name? KJ Black?
I've heard his name as well. I think that would be a good a guy who he played at PV. He's coaching at FAMU, so he knows I think he could be a guy who could be a strong contender for this position. So if you're not gonna go with a name guy, then you need to go with a guy who can boost the energy of your program. And I think he can do it if he get the shot. At some point, a coach like that needs to work his way up the ladder. So I think this would be a good opportunity for him as well.
Yeah, I think so too. He's won there. I think they won the championship or won the West back in '09 when he was there.
Yeah, they won SWAC. They won SWAC when his senior year there in 2009.
Yeah. So, and I've been watching him on Why Not Us, and I think he would do all right at Prairie View. Like you said, if they don't get anybody that's super proven, I think that's somebody who probably has a lot more pride and would want to be there. I think that's a big deal in these with these schools in the SWAC. I feel like you gotta get somebody who want to be there.
Yeah, I mean that to me that's the most important. Well, not the most important thing because you need to be able to recruit and coach, but
Yeah.
you need to want to be there. This should not be a stepping stone for you. Now, if you do well in 3 or 4 years and somebody come call and that's different, I just don't think that that's the route that you go. If you are gonna be a coach to come in for a year, rehab your image and dip. So I I would really encourage you to want to be where you're coaching at. And it's well, at some schools that might be an issue. I mean him being in an interracial relationship, that might be an issue. Now, at Southern, everybody high yellow, so you can't really tell
Yeah.
in certain situations. But at some schools, that might not be a good thing. So that's you always have to take into account all those kind of things, because it's so much goes into a coaching search. And what's his
That's a
Coach
good
Wilson
comment.
at Bowie State. Somebody needs to talk to him for real.
Yeah.
That's a guy. Even if he says no, you need to call him. What he did this year at Bowie State with that defense was amazing. They've been a really solid team the last couple of years. So if nobody's calling him, at least, then you missing the mark. Guys like that, they need opportunity. So get him on the phone. If he say no, he say no. Call him again.
Well, speaking of that, I was asked a question in the barbershop last night by a father who has a son that's a sophomore in high school here. He said he has 10 offers. I was able to confirm 3 mid-major offers already. He's like 6'5", 280, run 4.5, 4.6. And I was asking him, just for, the show's sake, just for our sake, I said, has any HBCUs contacted him? Mind you, he has 3 mid-major offers already as a sophomore. He said, I hadn't heard from any HBCUs. He said, I've sent stuff to Jackson State, but no response. And he said, how do you get HBCUs on your trail? He said, we're not opposed to it. We won't Power 5, but we're not opposed if you come talking right. So my question to you is where do people get players from? Like, I don't know anybody really that's had 3 or 4 HBCUs on their trail. It's usually one school and the rest PWIs.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that it's a baffling thing, and it's something that has to change. These coaches need to get out here earlier. I think the HBCU coaches, SWAC coaches, they need to change their recruiting mindset. Not waiting to guys come on their junior year. Yeah, we're gonna call him the fact checker. Yeah, he
Hey
ain't
man.
playing, man. He ain't playing. I'm glad I don't know nobody that I said got 20 offers. He'd be like, nah, he ain't got none. So
Yeah.
he ain't playing with that. But I think that these coaches need to get on these kids earlier. FBS teams, they recruit kids. Now, I'm not saying you need to recruit 13, 14-year-olds, but you need to be casting that net, man, throwing out them offers. It don't cost nothing to offer a kid. And I don't like to see these schools get on kids when it's too late. They haven't got an offer from nobody. They've got 15, 20 FBS offers, a couple FCS offers, and no SWAC offers until almost signing day. And now you want to talk to them and throw them an offer. So you need to put your name in the hat as early as possible, man. Make these kids know who you are, and make like I said with the same thing with coaches, make them tell you no. They be I know you only got so many visits and all that stuff, but make them say no. You have to put yourself out there and promote yourself. That's what Jackson State is doing. Promotion, man. It's a different ball game now. You can't go with the picking up the guys who fall through the cracks. You need to get out there and recruit and get in these high schools early.
Well, I think that's true. It's all about the recruiting coach. It's since I've been around the SWAC, and that's been my whole life. It's always been some weird things with recruiting. You can't understand it. Like where I'm from, anyway. Like it seems like they don't recruit the area. I don't know, and they go way to California to get a bum. Like it just didn't make any sense whatsoever. But my next question, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I know y'all didn't heard me say this on the show before, but the lab school at Southern is right across the street from Mumford Stadium, and it's hard to get kids to. Southern don't even recruit a lot of those kids, and I know that's something they're trying to change now. But you have to recruit your hometown, man. You have to. The kids might want to get away and go other places, but you have to talk to them, man. there should be no reason that a kid say Southern never talked to me when you right up
Yeah.
the street. So it's all about putting yourself out there and getting your name out there. And I think, if that's one thing I would say for Coach Dooley, is he gonna do that, because at Prairie View he was in Baton Rouge getting guys, he was in New Orleans getting guys, you know, local areas around Mississippi and Texas. So you have to do that, man. You have to. It's a must.
But next question for y'all. I seen it in the SWAC group, and it really provoked me to think. What's the difference between Southern and McNeese? Is there a large gap in not just the talent on the field? I'm talking facilities, stadiums, those type of things. So if the gap isn't that large with that, then how come we can't get a lot of those kids that's going to those lower level FBS schools? It don't make
Well,
any sense. We should be right there with them, or
I
better.
I've been to McNeese a couple of times. I've been in a basketball arena. It ain't nothing special. The mini dome is better, and that ain't even a great place. But it is, the basketball arena ain't nothing special. The football stadium is pretty much on par with, an average SWAC stadium. It's not amazing. The facilities, the school is not that big. It's not in a great area. It's just those schools get out and talk to kids, man. They they talk to these kids, and they get their attention, because some of these kids want to hear from Southern. They want to hear from Grambling, and they don't. So McNeese is where they end up at, Northwestern State, Southeastern. We don't necessarily recruit against these kids. We miss out on kids because we don't talk to them. And then when it come time for them to play Southern, and now they are all Southland guys. The newspaper always say, this kid wanted to go to Southern, but Southern never talked to him. So, I don't know how much of that is always fact or fiction, but that's something that I've heard many, many times. And there's, 3 or 4 Baton Rouge kids on McNeese team that started. So that's those guys. Like I said, you just have to keep talking to them, man, making yourself known, and stop worrying about outside the state. Take care of state first, and then branch out.
Yeah, it made me think, man. Just in general, these lower level FBS schools are not much further ahead resource wise than the SWAC school. So why are they perceived to even be better than a SWAC school?
Now, when you talk about stadiums and everything, I've been to every FCS team in Louisiana. Nobody has a great stadium, compared to, even, Grambling Stadium is pretty much bigger than most of those stadiums. Southern Stadium is definitely bigger. Northwestern State, I think their stadium holds 16,000. Southeastern's barely holds 10. Nickel State Stadium is not that good. So, if when it comes to that kind of stuff, the facilities are there. You need to sell yourself. That's what it's all about. You need to sell yourself. You need to sell your program, and stop thinking that just because your name is Southern, that kids are gonna just come on over. You need to sell yourself, and that's what they do. Those teams sell themselves, and they get what they want.
I can agree. I can agree, and just something that hopefully one day I'm in position to make better, because it don't make no sense to be losing out on talent at that level. I can see losing out to LSU, but in some of those smaller schools, there's no reason you shouldn't have the best guys that they have.
Yeah, and like I keep saying, man, this new version of the SWAC is all about marketing. Like the comment said, it's all about putting your name out there, putting your brand out there, and making yourself known. Because, and I say this a lot, and I know some people probably get tired of hearing me say this, but what they're doing in Jackson, now I'm not saying you need to do it the way they do it, but what Deion Sanders is doing in Jackson, you need to try to formulate the best way that it works for your program. Now, what he do might not work for Valley, but there's a way to do it in a way that Valley can work for them and anybody else. So you need to sell your program.
I like that comment, and a lot of people feel like those places are better. A lot of people have a negative, perception of HBCUs.
Now let me share a story with y'all. This is a personal story. When I was in 11th grade back in 1992, we was having a ring ceremony, and this guy, I didn't know him, but he was a senior. He had graduated, and he was going to LSU. They had him speak to the school, and he made a statement that resonated with me from that point to now. He said, and this was a black guy. He said, "Y'all work hard, study, get your grades right. Don't end up at Southern like I did." What do that's a horrible statement to make to kids
Right.
that 2 miles from Southern University and can go to any school that they want. I was accepted to 2 or 3 schools, but Southern was the place I was going because my daddy was like, you either stay on campus and go to Southern, or you stay at home and go to Southern. It was no choice. So that was it. He was like, you Southern, that's it. I hope you like it there. You will be there. But that's not. Those are the things, like that comment said, that people put out there about HBCUs. We got doctors, lawyers, 5-star generals, man, engineers, whatever you want, have come from these schools. Just because it wasn't the best choice for you, because you wanted to go somewhere else and you didn't do what you had to do, don't mean that that's a negative thing for nobody else. And
Right.
when we do that as our folks, that's not right. You negative recruiting on yourself, and that's not right.
Right. And I think now, a lot of people are getting, some people are getting back on the bandwagon, and then some people are getting on the bandwagon. So the conversation is starting to change some for some people, but you still got, some of those out there that just feel like PWI just always better. But I'm glad to see, a lot more positive talk about those schools now.
Yeah, my only thing is I won't. I know everybody's here for different reasons, but stick around, man. Learn the culture, get in it, and enjoy it, because you may not realize this, but with the booming YouTube community with HBCUs, that's more attention, man. People across the world are watching videos about the SWAC. They're watching Jackson State videos. They're watching whatever. Those are people who would never be reached. Those people may not ever go to a game, but they're gonna tell people, man, there's this school in Texas called Texas Southern, man. They got a quarterback, Andrew Body, he the best, whatever. But that's how you build these brands. There's people who, like LSU, never stepped foot on campus before.
Yep.
Same thing with Alabama. It's people who would never ever step foot on campus, but they will shoot you in Alabama over the Crimson Tide, and they have never been to Tuscaloosa. So
Yep.
I'm not saying we need to be that way, but that's the brand you need. That you need those people who are gonna be there and gonna support. They're gonna do what they can do. Like I always say, my father did not go to Southern. He went to Mississippi Valley. But my father put all his money and energy in Southern University. When I was a kid, we had football players at our house eating dinner. I thought every kid was like that. The starting quarterback watching cartoons with me. I thought every kid at school was like that. And people looking at me like I was crazy. But that's what we need. We need those kind of people. And the HBCU fan bases are older, so we need to reach out and embrace the younger people and get them involved as well. So it's a lot of work to be done, but it can be done.
Those last two comments, I can resonate with both of them, and that's definitely true. I mean, I ain't never been to a place thus far where it mattered where my degree came from. They just want to know that I had one. You know what I mean? So people saying stuff like that is just ignorant. Oh, that degree don't mean nothing. Man, them folks, they just happy that you have one nowadays.
Yeah, and truth be told, a lot of your CEOs are HBCU people. So some of y'all, might be some sourness behind people's statements, but it's it's one of those things, man. And like I said, I was blessed to come up in a house like that. I grew up all Southern. There was no choice. My older sister went to where it was USL at the time. Now it's UL Lafayette, and she's like the outcast of our family. I mean, we love her, but she get left out in all the conversations. My niece went to Prairie View. My one of my nieces went to Southern. My nephew went to Southern. My sister, my brother-in-law, everybody is a SWAC person. So she's sitting there when we got our group text talking trash, and she like, "Hey, my team won this week." Like, no, we don't care.
Yeah.
You go back to ULL with that. So it's just, it's generational. So we need to start reaching back and encouraging people to get involved and understand. And like you said, understand that HBCU education is very valuable.
Also, kind of like Swag Fan was saying, and what y'all did, get back to those days where the community was really involved, not just when they winning, but supporting those kids and making them feel like family. Not just the athletes, but just local students at these institutions, man. Give them a family away from their family, home away from home, and bring back that real closeness, that culture that we really need in general.
Yeah, and if you're a person that's a season ticket holder at your school or any school, if you've been there a long time, then you've seen families develop. You've seen kids grow up. Where my parents used to sit, it was me and a couple other kids my age. We grew up, we got married. You watch the people get older and they start to disappear over time, and they replaced by people who just there because they want to be a Southern game. They don't have any real loyalty. So it's one of those things that we need to really build up the community again, and get kids to understand, man. You can, if you trying to go pro, you can go pro from anywhere. If you want to play some good football and be coached by some coach with NFL experience, there's tons of coaches on HBCU staff that have NFL experience. So it's one of those things that we just need to start trying to turn this back around. And I think it starts now. I think we're laying a good foundation. So hopefully, we can keep this going, and in a few years we be in a better spot.
Yeah, I think so. With these coaching changes, if they stick around and don't chase, I can't tell a person not to go get their money, but if they can, stay around and be intentional with what they're doing, I think the groundwork that they laying could really help the next generation or two.
Yeah, I think, like you said, man, I ain't got, I don't have any problem with somebody, bag chasing. But to me, the most important thing to do as a coach is to build your coaching tree. So you need to start, maybe you got a up and coming young guy, let's say like you're Ray Lewis, for example. You got somebody that you want to get started. So when your time is, you ready to move, man, you can bounce somebody else in there, or they move on to another HBCU program. You have to build that tree, and that's something that's lacking in Black college sports. You know, they don't really have that, so it's important for that kind of stuff to happen because that builds longevity, that builds brands. So if you can keep your school team in position when you leave, and it keep moving, then it's gonna only keep growing.
I feel like Dooley left Prairie View in a better spot than when he found it. So hopefully, whoever they get can continue to build on that. And just using them for an example, but hopefully they can continue to build on what he's left.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's what it's all about. You don't know when a job that you might have been looking for gonna come. It may never come, but you need, hopefully, you don't leave a cupboard bare. Kids at the school now, they understand how to win. They hungry. They want more, so they're gonna stay focused as long as they have a coach that guides them in that right direction. Is That's the important thing. So hopefully, that they can make a good hire and keep that thing rolling, because Prairie View is a program that's on the rise. So I think if they can keep it going, that'll be good.
And before we get out of here, I want to remind everybody that starting January, we will be taking donations for SWAC schools. I guess you want to go in alphabetical order
Yeah,
as
we can
far
do
as,
it that way. We can
yeah,
do
we'll
it that
start
way.
with alphabetical order. I'm not using my school brain, so I'm not gonna call out who's gonna be first. But
Alabama A&M.
all right, start with Alabama A&M, and whatever your heart desires to give, we plan to either give the check directly to the school athletics and or pay a local business in the area to cater one of the sports teams, or just do something uh, for these schools and support these schools. Start putting our money where our mouths are. We sit on here, we talk for 45 minutes a week about what we need to do and what needs to be done. So we're gonna give everybody an opportunity, including ourselves, to try to take a step.
Yeah, so that's something that we both, we talked about this a couple shows ago. We talked about it offline. It's something that we passionate about. So whatever when the time comes, whatever you move to do, it's all for a good cause, and we're just trying to do our part to kind of help these kids out because they don't have those support we do. So we just want to try to give it our all and get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I like that comment. We do need to get us something, man. We'll work on that. We'll
Hey,
work on something.
if anybody is a designer out there, man, y'all get at us. Maybe we can work something out. Um, it's important to build a brand. So, it takes y'all guys too, man. Like they said, it takes a village, and y'all part of us now. So, we all in this together. So feel free to hit us up, and we can work something out.
Definitely, of course, with the merch, anything that we sell, a portion of that going back straight back to HBCU schools. So it's I can promise you, I'm doing none of this for me. It's all about these kids that I don't know at these institutions. It's all about these institutions. A lot of them I never stepped foot on their campus or took a class there, but I care so much for it and I want it to stay. So, like I said, it's not about me, but I appreciate all the support and love that we are getting.
Yeah, so like I can only echo what my man say. He's the driving force behind this, and I'm definitely on board. So we just want to do what we can, and and if it leads to something that's great, whatever it does is better than what's been done before. So we just want to use our platform and try to build something.
Well, that's all you got for today. Guess we had to come back with a little finish up on the coaching carousel. I'm sure there'll be some more news come out by next week, and then kind of get into a little bit of the basketball, get ready for the conference openers and that. So,
Yeah, and I mean, well, we got the Celebration Bowl next week too.
oh, I keep forgetting about that.
I,
That's
I
the
I know JSU is a foregone conclusion, but they still got to play that game. So we're gonna talk about it at least and see. And I did want to chime in on this one real quick, man, because it seems like every time we get ready to get out of here, everybody hit us with something. Even a couple years ago, man, I remember how hard it was to find anything HBCU, and now you have a lot of people, man, doing a lot of great stuff on here. So the more the merrier, and we just gonna continue to find our lane and do what we do.
yeah. Sorry about skipping the Celebration Bowl too, man. It totally slipped my mind, but
No, it's
I'm
all good. I'm,
I'm all JSU, man.
that's what I'm saying. What I mean, I pretty much feel like most people feel the same way, but we're gonna talk about it a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, and like you say, everything else is up in the air too. Basketball. Oh man, Texas Southern big win over Florida this week. I can't believe I forgot. I wanted to bring that up, but it
yeah.
slipped my mind. TSU always knock off somebody. First SWAC school in the history of the conference to beat a ranked SEC opponent. So that's huge, man. Big win for the SWAC. Brought a lot of attention to us right now. So I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, I was excited when I saw that, man. So hopefully we have more of that to come. I hope the SWAC is extremely competitive this year. Basketball is usually is, and I'm a big college girls basketball fan. So I love watching the women play.
Oh yeah, and they got JSU, Alabama State, some good
Yeah,
squads, man. Southern underrated all the time. So women's basketball is definitely like the one that's you'd never know. So I love the fact that our games are double hitters, so you can see both. So
yeah.
that really makes you get to the gym early and watch two games for the price of one. Oh yeah, TSU is a basketball school for
Yeah.
sure. So I think we're gonna go ahead and get on up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all coming in. Y'all know we'll be back here next week. And the good Lord say the same, we'll be back here. And y'all enjoy your weekend, man. Y'all stay safe.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll holler at y'all.